Good morning, everybody. First off, why don't we give a round of applause to our friends at MediaPost. This has been great so far. And I hope you guys all enjoy the coffee that we're sponsoring. I can't take responsibility if it's strong or it's weak, but no, please enjoy it. And while we get to know a little bit about iSpot. So, with iSpot, again, my name is Wes Howard. I'm in the Client Partnerships team. We are a TV measurement platform that has been around for about 12 years. And just to give you an idea of where we fit in the space, we work with over 750 brands, advertising agencies, as well as other partners across most verticals. Basically, anyone that's investing significantly in TV advertisement potentially, would consider working with iSpot for measurement. We also work with CPG as well. As far as how many we're working with all 10 of the top 10 advertisers and about 85% of the top 100 advertisers as far as TV spend. A couple of differentiators about iSpot. One is that we are a pure play measurement platform. And essentially what that means is we don't offer activation within our solution. We're not buying media, we're not selling ads. And the reason for this is we really wanted to come to the market and present an unbiased measurement platform, really just playing the umpire versus also playing maybe the batter or the pitcher. We've also been both for our airings level data, we're JIC certified and MRC accredited, which that is unique to iSpot. And then we like to think of the measurement data that we provide is fast, it's accurate, and it's actionable, often available to you within 24 to 48 hours. So let's pivot a little bit to the landscape as far as TV within CPG. Some of these numbers are truly shocking, and what we did is we went back within our dashboard and our platform and looked at all TV spend within the CPG industry in 2024. And as you can see, just in linear TV only, there was about over $6.1 billion that was spent within the vertical. Pivoting over to streaming, we've got 5 brands here that basically together combined made up about 12.5% of all streaming ad impressions. And then if we think about every ad that ran on linear and streaming and digital platforms within CPG, that totaled over 6,000 unique creatives. So I'm telling you something you guys already know. It is very, very competitive in the CPG landscape. And then taking it a step further, you've got one manufacturer that accounted for 17% of all linear TV ad spend across their 26 brands. So this is a very crowded space, and it is so challenging for brands to be able to stick out and engage with their consumers and get them to convert and ultimately become a customer. Wrong button. So we think about that competitive landscape, right? It's critical to be able to answer some of these questions, not only about your TV ad investment, but about the industry. And that's what iSpot helps to answer. Think about, is my creative actually resonating with the audience? Speaking of audiences, are we reaching the right targeted audience? Or are we reaching them in the most efficient manner? Is our spend being optimized? Are we looking at the right metrics to be able to determine if we should optimize our spend? And ultimately, our outcomes, are they competitive? Are they competitive within the category? Are they competitive, versus our own metrics? And so being able to answer all these questions, as you know, is going to offer opportunities for faster optimization, smarter investment decisions, and ultimately more measurable impact. And that's really what iSpot does. We are a measurement platform that covers the full funnel of the life cycle of the ad, everywhere from creative assessment to audience delivery, and ultimately to measurable outcomes. Today, though, we're going to focus on 3 features within our solution that are most important to CPG brands, at least ones that we've worked with in the past, and that's centered around competitive intelligence, advanced audiences, and ultimately outcomes. So when we think about competitive intelligence, this is the most popular question that we get from our brand partners that leverage our platform, but also others that we're having conversations in there exploring iSpot, and it's, what is my competition doing, right? And so we've seen it, in the past, there might have been some latent systems or maybe some systems that are a little out of date to where you see a competitive ad that is broadcast on TV, and it's like, now what? And so if you're a marketer and you're getting asked these questions, sometimes there was a challenge on the visibility of the performance of that competitive ad. And so with iSpot, because we're gathering all of that linear and streaming data together, we are taking every single ad that goes across TV, cataloging it overnight, and putting it available in our dashboard. And this goes back to 2013. So we have over 2.6 million creatives cataloged, and within that, we have data that has all of these metrics here. So not only are our brand partners able to go into their own ads and say, how are we as far as impressions and reach? What's our share of voice maybe on a specific network? What are our outcome benchmarks versus the category? Now they're actually able to see that level of granularity for their competitive ads. The second part is advanced audiences. And so this is a relatively new feature within iSpot. It's called the Audience Builder. And there's a couple of different ways that we can partner on as far as building those audiences. One is working with your first-party data. And so through our partnership with LiveRamp, we can ingest CRM data, loyalty data, basically any unique audience segment, which will then allow you to measure your ad impact against that very specific segment. We also understand that there's a challenge with sharing data. Oftentimes we get rejected, or it might take a little longer than we need because we've got to get this information and this measurement information now because the campaign's live. So we have another option where you can go directly into our platform, and using about 700 different attributes, you can build custom segments, and we actually ingest these from Experian for their audience segments to where then you can measure your campaign against those custom segments. So a couple of different ways to slice and dice here with the data. And then finally with attribution, and we like to think about this as kind of the last mile, but what we think about in regards to attribution is really looking at like incrementality and sales lift and how that relates to the actual conversion, right? And so we're able to measure certain conversions like web page visits or app downloads, or maybe a mobile purchase. But we also have a partnership with Circana, so that way we can tap into store-level data because we know that that is mission critical for CPG. And then from that, we extrapolate that and then model it to we have visibility into over 80 million smart TVs and devices that are mapped to the household. So then we can determine this household saw or was exposed to this ad this many times, and it actually drove an outcome. We do have a couple of case studies here. This is really long, so I'll just give you the TLDR, but we had one brand that was investing in the Super Bowl for the first time. So we worked with them on some creative pre-testing to understand which ad actually had a higher likability, and it ended up ranking in the top 20 as far as like the love it emotion for all the Super Bowl ads that ran that year. And then we also had a pet food brand that they looked into their dashboard just on the streaming data that was available, and they actually saw that their cost per acquisition was about 200% lower than what their spike analysis was showing them, and this was for high-reach ad spots. So it really gave them the confidence to say, hey, maybe we should actually pivot and optimize our spend to more high-reach networks. So a lot of different ways that you can slice and dice the data with iSpot, but essentially, if you're looking for a full funnel solution that covers the entire life cycle from creative to audience delivery and ultimately outcome measurement, give us a shout. Thank you so much.